Happy to be here. That's from Sales Podcast. This is the Sales Platform Seller Series where we get to get a quick demo of Orum. But before, I'd love to know who you are and how you got here. I think I have personally known you for 5 years. I feel like you've been you're the VP of Sales at Orum, but to me, you feel like a co-founder.
Well, Amir, hey, I so much appreciate that. And happy Friday. Thanks for having me on the show. I think this is a long time coming. So much appreciate you inviting me here. And yeah, Amir, we've known each other half a decade at this point. And you were probably one of the first people to get eyes on Orum in the early days. And yeah, it's been awesome. I'm VP of Sales. Was the first sales hire full time aside from the original founders. Jason, Karthik, Terry, and Patrick. And so came on and have scaled the business from bootstrap to Series B and working our way towards that next milestone. And yeah, excited to.
Can I call you a co-founder?
Salespreneur. How about that?
So tell everybody, what is Orum?
Yeah, so Orum, we describe ourselves as a live conversation platform. The reason for that is we generate instant live conversations with your target market for your sellers, your people, to have real live human-to-human conversations every day, and more conversations than they could ever get on their own or with other type of calling services. And so we do that through a mixture of connect rate playbook, artificial intelligence and machine learning to help the reps get into conversations and do better on those conversations, and a sales floor environment for the reps to be engaged with one another and get real-time coaching as well. So excited to give a high level today and answer any questions here, Amir.
Yeah, for anybody listening, if I had to answer that question of what Orum is in one sentence, I would say it's a tool to help you have more conversations, generate more to B2B leads by doing dialing faster, cheaper, more efficient. But to me, that's what it is. I like it. I use it. I was using it back in the day, 2020 during COVID. I used it so that I could generate enough meetings and revenue to not fire anybody during COVID. That was how I used Orum. Tell me about the problem that you guys fix, right? I think you mentioned a little bit about it, about reps not having enough conversations, but like what is if it was one problem that Orum fixed, what would that be?
Yeah, so we're really solving for what we call that lack of buzz on the sales floor. And what do we really mean by that from a business perspective, right? We know we want our reps to have more conversations with our target buyers. We want them to actually speak with them live, cut through the noise of the inbox, and get to the root of our prospective customer problems. And so what Orum solves for and enables is all the manual drudgery it typically takes for your salespeople to get into a conversation with a target customer. And so, pre-Orum, your reps are having to go, one by one, figure out who they want to call, click the button to call them, read the research before the phone is ringing or while it's ringing, and then not get a pickup or get a bad number or run into a voicemail. And then, they're sitting alone in their room or on the sales floor, and then they got to intentionally decide to do that same motion again with little to no result. And so what we saw was sales floors go completely silent because of that drudgery and that burnout associated with making calls. And so where Orum comes in is through AI and next generation machine learning, it takes away that pain. And so the rep really is just focused on having strategic conversations at scale. And that's through a mixture of automation, analytics, insights, and data. So that's really at the root of what we're getting at here. Helping our peers, our sales peers, Amir. You're on you hit the mute button there.
A true VP of sales, right? I'm going to dump this down for the listeners. The problem that Orum fixes is that if you dial people manually, you're not going to have enough conversations to make money. So Orum allows you to have enough conversations to make money. That's my summary on it. I don't want to put words in your mouth, Colin, but I'm trying to make it super simple for those.
You want to make money? You've come to the right place. 100%. 100%.
Let's do some math here. You can have one conversation per day, or you can have 10 during the same amount of hours. If you're a skilled cold caller or caller, what's going to make you more money? It's a no-brainer, right? This is like going 100 miles per hour versus 10 miles per hour. I see it like that. Hopefully, the listeners will when they see the demo. But tell me a little bit about what differentiates you from the competition in the landscape. And like, I have not been catching up with the who's who in the world, so I know there's people there. But like, what's the one thing that differentiates you guys?
Yeah, we're unique in the way we approach calling. Like multi-line and speed calling has been around really since the stockbroker days of the 80s. But those systems, they're based on kind of antiquated algorithms, and they were ripe with lots of what we call false positives. The customer experience of getting a big delay when someone answers the phone, or you pick up and you hear a big bleep, and it's a sales or telemarketer call, and so we looked at the market, and there was antiquated technology on one end, and on the other end of the market there were outsourcing kind of call centers that make calls for you and kind of act as human operators, and bridge you into the conversation. So they'll listen for someone.
I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about.
And so, yeah, Orum really sits between kind of the old world where technology was trying to solve for this, but leaving a lot to be desired for the customer.
Yeah.
I mean, we got tired of getting those robocalls. And then on the other side, a really human capital intensive, service. And so Orum sits right in the middle, taking the best of what both we're trying to solve and do it efficiently in an elegant way that the customer has a really good normal experience. For them, it's a normal phone call, and the rep saves all that time, as you were describing before, Amir.
Yeah. Well, look, we at CloudTest, we have a marketplace for B2B sales platforms. We represent a lot of technologies. I can't use them all. Orum happens to be one that I have used, right? So I was able to open up $34 million of pipeline in 1 month of calling myself. I didn't convert them. This was during COVID, so conversion rates were low, but they sure as hell were opened. And I cannot make this story up, but Jalen Nelson, our demand gen guy, is literally in the office next to me using Orum and calling. He made his first meeting today. And we posted about it live on LinkedIn. Let's get into a quick demo for anybody watching. I'd love for you, something quick, high level, just seeing how sales professionals can use your guys to just generate an overwhelming amount of B2B lead gen. Like everything we do, I hate saying this, but it's for B2B lead gen, right? Like that is why all of us come to the table and build these tools. So love to see a little bit of a high level overview here, what we got. See, you got the screen up.
Yeah, sounds good. So I'm just on Orum.com. So right here from the homepage, increased pipeline starts with a conversation, right? More conversations. That means more at bats. That means more meetings, more pipeline, or more conversations and more sales, right? And so we're going to log in. I'll give you guys a high level.
That's what I said. My elevator pitch is like your homepage.
There you go. So I just logged in here, and the first thing, let me just show you guys quickly. When we log in, I'm logged into my Salesforce instance here.
And just for anybody listening, do you guys work with Salesforce, HubSpot? I know you could do Google Sheets because I used to do that back in the day because I didn't have Salesforce. Anything else real quickly? Are you guys working with Apollo or working with Outreach or SalesLoft, or just the ones I mentioned?
Yeah, we've got some coming soon, but right now, Outreach, Salesforce, SalesLoft, you can use your business Google account. And Spot is another big partner of ours, but more to come very in the near future, which we're really excited about.
You got HubSpot and Salesforce, you got 80% of the enterprise buyers, so you're good to go.
Awesome. That's right. We're also integrated partners with Gong as well, which we're really excited about that partnership. Nice. So when you log into Orum, and the beauty of these integrations and part of our differentiation is you can pull in lists from any integration that you've enabled. So let's say you have marketing leads coming from HubSpot. You want to work on sequences from Outreach. You want to do a call campaign from a Salesforce report view. You can do all of that within Orum. Orum becomes a single pane of glass for generating conversations. So if Outreach goes down, pulling a list from Salesforce. HubSpot goes down, pulling a list from Outreach. You've got the choice within Orum to connect seamlessly within your ecosystem here. So I'm going to pull in, or what I've done here is pulled in a Salesforce report here. And we have a few ways to make calls. Everything's done within the dialer browser here. So
Please read the instructions on your screen. When you're ready to receive calls, press the start button to begin dialing.
So Orum is going to use your computer audio and microphone. You can also call in by cell phone or landline.
Yep.
And then we're going to call through the list of prospective customers that you brought in from your CRM of choice.
Yeah.
And we've got a few ways to make calls. We can call them one by one. We can call them based upon the connect rate. And the connect rate for folks out there is the percentage of people that answer the phone to those that don't answer the phone, to the number of dials that you've made.
Yeah.
And so we can.
And for anybody listening, that would vary too based on the data quality, right? Like if you have a mobile number provider or human verified leads, the connect ratio would be higher than perhaps pulling data from an Apollo or a Zoom Info, not using the mobile stuff, right?
Correct. So we have customers that have maybe a finite TAM, addressable market, and they've invested a lot of resourcing on high quality data. And they may just want to use the Orum automation to move from one call to the next, bringing all their research in front of them. So I'll show you first what that experience is like.
Dialing.
So right now, Orum's calling Salvatore. If Salvatore picks up, we have a normal conversation with him.
Sorry, I'm not available. Please leave a dialing.
Orum will automatically log the activity back to your CRM and move you to the next
Sorry,
call.
I'm not available.
Hands-free.
Yeah,
leave a
just to kind of comment about that, it's all hands-free. So what
Dialing
I
is
found
paused.
very useful when I was using, or I'm a multitasker, I shouldn't be sharing this, but I was hands-free and I'd be literally with LinkedIn social selling. And then as soon as it would pop up with a call, I'd have the LinkedIn link. I'd pull the guy up right away. I'd see his company. And that's just how I used it, which I probably will share in the future. Keep going, Colin. Hard for me not to interrupt because I'm an Orum fan.
No, 100%. And so I appreciate that, Amir. And you nailed it. And what we can also do in the background is bring up the person's LinkedIn, their CRM pages, so you have all the relevant information when you have a conversation as well. And we can refresh them per prospective customer. So that's moving one call to the next. All the activity gets logged automatically back to your system of record. The rep doesn't lift a finger unless they're having a conversation. They focus on the at bat.
You must pick a disposition to resume dialing. Dialing is paused.
So I'm gonna resume calling now. Now I'm gonna bump this up to focusing on 4
dialing
prospective customers at once. So right now we're calling Bertha, Kelly, Phyllis, and Patricia. And Orum's AI is scanning each call for a live conversation. We're going to navigate a corporate directory to find someone. We'll leave a voicemail for you if we detect a voicemail. Hey,
this is Alice.
Call in with Orum. Are they keeping you busy on this Friday? Catching you on a recorded line here. How you doing? Alice, can you hear me? Okay?
Bye. The prospect hung up. Dialing is
I got to
paused.
tell everybody, I have not done a software sales demo where a VP of sales has straight up cold called and had a connected call right on the call. That person hung up, but you were ready to pitch, which I love.
I'm ready to pitch. So Alice picked up. She didn't like what I had to say there, but Orum's AI is going to auto suggest how that call occurred. And then I can save those notes back to my CRM automatically. So we're saving the rep yet one more step in their typical workflow.
Yep. So, and if you don't mind, can you scroll down a little bit just to let people know? From my understanding, those are hyperlinks, right? So you also have the information that you need right away. You got the name, last name, but you can quickly pull up the LinkedIn profile. And my understanding, have I used it, you can also put a URL there to quickly pull up a website so that you guys can be on track. And I think it's also important when using this tool to be calling maybe like a similar persona. So it's all VPs of sales or all CEOs. Those are just different best practices that I use. But question, why did you choose 4 instead of a higher number? Is there a reason for that? I love 10.
It really comes down to your connect rate. And so starting to understand.
Please read the instructions on your screen. When you're ready to receive calls, press the start button to begin dialing.
Your connect rate by list and campaign. And so I know that list intimately, and I know a good number to select there. And part of the beauty of Orum is you can start to filter down your analytics by the actual sales campaign. So the list performance. So I can start to see how certain lists are performing. If they have a higher connect rate versus lower connect rate, maybe I'm calling, opportunity leads or close loss leads, or something that might be much colder. So I can start to get a sense of the call pickup rate per list, and also the data source. If I'm calling a bunch of direct dials and human validated numbers, I might set it at 1 or 2, because I also don't want to risk missing a conversation.
Yep. So it's also, anybody listening to this, it's a good tool for somebody who might not be provided the best data, but is expected a high KPI. You put this thing on 10X, and instead of you wasting time to call a bad number, a bad person, a bad voicemail, the machine does it for you, which saves you time, and time is money. And that's how I found it to be useful, because when we were using some data sources that weren't good quality, I would just do 10X. I would never waste time dialing the bad number. It would tell me the bad number. It would just focus on leaving good voicemails and conversations. So as Colin mentioned, depending on the quality of your data, you can adjust it to be, the worst quality data, 10X dial. If you got better quality data, you can lower it and find that right amount for just having that conversation. So it has flexibility. For me, the hands-free and the parallel dialing is literally what makes you guys special, and the voicemail drops, meaning that how much time could it take to leave 30 voicemails? Well, with this system, it takes you 0 time, right? So now you're leaving 30 voicemails, you're getting through the bad numbers, and you're just focusing on having conversations, right? Keep going. I'm once again interrupting your demo.
No, Amir, you really nailed it. I think, you're hitting the crux of it, right? More conversations, more pipeline, more meetings. And, a big thing is, for every time a prospective customer does not answer the phone, you also nailed it. The AI is auto cataloging all of the numbers for you for the future to know, does that go to the person's voicemail? Does their voicemail match the name? So we're validating the data on your behalf as well, and filtering out any of the busy signals, any bad numbers. We're also looking for the prospective customer. For the enterprise people that call to directories, we're looking for the prospective customer in the directory. We'll actually spell the person's name. We'll look for them and try to and attempt to connect you directly with them as well. So saving you tons of time, where you'd have to spell the person's name, listen to the prompt. We're doing all of that on your behalf, which is
there's also other buyers out there where they're getting told, hey, make 100 calls, 150 calls a day. But I would imagine that this on 8 hours could make 1,500 dials, right? At the same effort. What is the number of dials that you see on average with let's call it 8 parallel at the same time? How many dials are we getting?
I mean, you can get hundreds, if not, into the thousands. The goal isn't, like, when you have a system like this, dials go out the window in terms of the KPI to think about. It's all about conversations and conversion rates, right? We want not just conversations. We want to understand in the conversation, are we getting competitive intelligence for our account-based marketing campaigns? Are we getting more medic discovery about decision criteria, decision process, that's
the point I'm bringing up. I'm bringing up the point that there's an antiquated KPI of dials per day, and it's like you're telling your reps to have 150 dials a day. You have Orum. That's no longer a problem. You're getting 500 to 1,000 dials, and you can focus on conversations and data quality, which is a better metric.
Yeah, right? we focus in on what we call meaningful conversations. Yeah. Okay, so with Orum, you can make your dials. But with Orum, you also get callbacks. So people return calls, you're dropping voicemails. We look at our connect to conversation. That's how long you keep the intended person on the line. We look at that as a minute or longer as a conversation, a meaningful one. Mm-hmm. And then meetings, how many meetings you've booked from your conversations. We view anything above 10% to be a good standard in B2B, mid-market to enterprise sales, where we focus.
And is this report per day, per week, per month, and how many reps?
This is just a week of the reps that are reporting into me here.
And how many reps are that?
Right now, I've got how many reps on this team here? About, I want to say 15 should be on my report view. So they got to pick it up today. Only 2 meetings so far. So I can look at, let's just see an example.
Is this also a good tool for like an SDR manager or VP sales to kind of just manage performance? Does it record calls? I also see that Salesforce beta thing. To me, I'm getting an itch that's a way for everybody to like see active calls, see who's calling, listen live, so you do live coaching.
You nailed it. So as a
Awesome.
sales leader, I can come in on the sales floor, especially if I have a hybrid or remote team, and I can go and listen live and coach Alex, who's in a live conversation right now, and coach him live on the call. So that's certainly a huge benefit to frontline leaders or peers. You know, your peers can come in and listen with you as well. We can create rooms to dial together collectively. And so I can create a room and invite my peers in Slack to come and do a call blitz with me. So that's another fun, engaging way to get more of the team on the platform, making calls, especially if you're in a hybrid or remote environment. You know, calling alone in your bedroom sucks, right? Like, you know, it's not like back in the day. Maybe, you know, a lot of people are back in the office now, but back in the day, it was like you're in the floor, you book a meeting, you want to high five your pal next to you, or if you're getting, you know, brutalized on the phone, you know, you want someone to empathize with you. They overheard it. They're like, hey, it's all right. Let's keep going together. And so we've recreated that in a virtual world where your peers can call together. You can celebrate one another in the virtual sales floor, as we call it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love to see the way you guys evolved. So it sounds like, because when I first started with you guys had the volume nailed down. You had the conversations nailed down. It looked like now you guys are buttoning up the coaching, right? The teamwork, the gamification. You mentioned that you integrate with Gong, hopefully Chorus soon too. We're partners with them, and that makes sense, allowing people to focus on actually analyzing the calls and coaching, right? Because one of the biggest things that I found is that, how do you coach an SDR that has one conversation per day, right? It becomes ineffective for you as a leader. You get 10 conversations. Now the math makes sense on hiring an SDR and the pipeline and also the coaching. So it's kind of one of those things that people don't talk about, where when the conversation rate to the math of hiring an SDR doesn't make sense, everything downstream is broken, right? If the conversation rate to SDR salary is on point, everything you do is on point, because you can't maximize inefficiency, right? I found it hard when we were a sales agency to coach people that had one or two conversations per day. You got 10 to 20 conversations per day, and now you're a coaching freak. And then it also, you know, for an SDR, just adding my 2 cents here, it's hard to get good at having conversations when you have one or 2 days. So like, not only is Orum a tool that allows you to have more conversations faster and generate more B2B leads faster, it lets you actually get good at your job faster, because you can't get good at your job having 5 conversations a week. You need 5 an hour, right? So there's a lot to unpack here. This is going to be the first of many of our demos, because I'm going to be, anybody listening to this, I'm going to be setting campaigns, recording it with Orum. Jillian's literally there dialing right now, and sharing our results, because I kind of want to do a test drive and show everybody who's listening. But we'll dive deeper into campaigns with you, Colin. And at the end of the day, if you're a CEO, VP of sales, even the sales agency owner, and you're looking to generate more B2B revenue per SDR, it's really simple. Phones work. Cold calling is not dead. Instead of doing $100 per day, let Orum do 1,000 for you. And instead of having one conversation per day, 10x and have 10. The math at one conversation doesn't work. The math at 10 does work. It's not even that complicated as that. In fact, I would say this: Orum is not the best tool for people who don't want to have conversations. If you don't want to be calling, if you're scared of actually having conversations, don't use Orum. I found that people that were avoiding the work didn't like it. The people who really want to make money, the people who want to destroy it in their business and crush it, this is a good tool for you. Colin, thank you for you and the team coming up with this. Thank you for being a guest on this show. Where can people find you and learn more about best practices when it comes to setting up B2B lead gen meetings with cold calling anywhere? What's the best place for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, follow me on LinkedIn. I'm always posting, advice, tips about cold calling, sales leadership, business and team planning. And then of course you can check out Orum.com. We do have a free trial on Orum.com, no credit card.
Product-led growth.
So yeah, 500, it comes with 500 dials. You can try it yourself, see the impact immediately. But yeah, follow me on LinkedIn, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the sales floor. Thanks so much, Amir.
Thank you, and everybody checking in. Appreciate you taking the time. Colin, I'll let you go. Take care, man. Have a good one.
Awesome. You too, man. Pleasure. See ya.
See ya.